holes in it that Juliano was exploiting by just breaking a trip past double doors and then instantly having control deep in the back of site. So I think attack, they obviously had much more room, and we need to see them stack up some rounds, because if they haven't solved their defensive holes in B-Link, they are going to lose tons and tons of rounds versus the Juliano lurks.
Okay, I think that's something we can check back in on throughout the game if it has been addressed, if they still get away with it. But it's quite a tantalizing prospect now of, has Guild learned their lesson? Do they have a plan in mind? Because as you noted, Guild will be starting out on the attacking side and G2 on the defense. And if you're just tuning in, a 1-1 matchup so far. Guild able to really take Fracture into their own hands, and G2 really not having much to say about the matter. But Juliano instantly noted, so big information found straight away.
That's the thing about G2's comp, is I did criticize it the other day because there's just not a lot of utility to like capitalize on and put yourself in advantageous fights, right? You have like fade information through smokes, so the Reyna leers, but those aren't super effective tools, so it's all about like taking these fights and winning out in them. So I like Guild sort of spotting out what the Reyna is, now converting back over into this A side, because it's all contact plays, and Guild have to be very efficient at clearing those out.
Well, Kukuga said it, big test for Mimi. And not passing on the first go here. So already going to be cleared, but Glance good at purchasing time. 37 seconds.
Whoa, look at this lurk from Roxy, by the way. All the way into connector. That could be huge.
It absolutely could be if she hits the shot. Still going to get Juliano, but was instantaneously traded out. So not going to have the full effect they would have wanted, but it's enough that's really kind of kept them guessing. Petra was almost looking back towards B after all of this. Now Mary, big punish on Ness. Now we need to see the fight come back in, and they've got it. Pushing down towards Secret, taking pick control and taking Glance out of the equation does at least give this a favorable scenario towards Guild. Spike now down, they're in a 3v2.
The firing squad. Mary gets 3, and Ace could win the pistol, but just getting charged down now.
This is decent.
And the spike in it. It's the spike's in such a bad position for her. They line up for a second, but Klaudia gets the kill. And Guild continue to win now. That's 3 pistols in a row for them now.
Who is this team? I liked it. And looking at the first round, they noted Juliano early. They instantly hit the rotation over towards A, and that's where I was hoping that Mimi might have been able to get that, you know, maybe even a 1-for-1 would have been okay, but just completely blown over, completely overrun. Did not find any impact from that. And hey, Mary made a round out of it. Old multi-kill Mary back in the building, but Guild picking up where they left off in the last map. And this is critical to them. Again, when we talk about Guild, it is also the mental game. There's nothing like consistently losing to one team and then having to pick yourself back up, keep going through these motions. Prowler should reveal the presence towards double door. The unhand flash is really well positioned, and it's a comfortable clear towards Petra, and Juliano forced away from the angle.
Oh, it's perfect. The timing off of the Prowler as well. Glance does get one in mid, and now they actually, I believe, note the spike is up here. Or did they not see it again? It's actually dropped back behind window.
God.
Glance is getting 3 kills, 4 kills with the Bulldog. But just like last game, G2 don't know that they had the spike in their hands.
Oh no, Ness. How have we gotten here? Well, I guess the one bonus is, as you noted, the spike was undetected. Now, middle, not nice. Not, oh, Ness, no. Anywhere but mid, I promised. I dare you to go anywhere else. And yes, we'll find Glance, but quickly traded out by Mary, and recovering 1 Bulldog and 1 Spectre, so not bad at all. And converting the second here is going to really annoy Guild. That could have been the string of 3, maybe 2, but again, you know, you could bring into question the bonus on this map, play it a certain way, but now they're sent right back down to the pistols.
How is that even possible? The re-aggress from Art into mid. Glance is classic, just getting everything and then somehow able to recover the Bulldog all the way in window. Had to go on a mad sprint to find that one, but that's going to be punishing, especially because, like, I think we can expect the way Guild to play a lot of these rounds is you can expect those mid-round pivots. We didn't really see it last one. That was more of a burst play, but they don't have all the tools at their disposal to very quickly attack and secure space. Instead, it's about slowly working their way up. So these good timings through mid can be very punishing. This round, though, just walking straight into the suction there. 2 kills, although Roxy, I don't know. In this series, pistols are just better than rifles. I don't get it.
Yes. They always have been.
Monk a gun.
Yeah, making something out of nothing, though, because bear in mind, that was with the Ghost rather than the 2 Sheriffs that are on deck as well. So a little bit more threatening than they maybe would have imagined. Maybe hitting the brakes a little here, see if there is that re-explore towards middle. from G2, not going to happen. They're more stacked towards the cross coming out of up. Have Mary sat there and Mimi. And that's sharp. That's really sharp. Mary's on a heater now. Looking pretty solid in this map so far, but a couple of threats made and didn't get the rifle, I don't believe, either. A little unfortunate for them in that regard. They could have maybe had the upgrade there, have this be a really threatening extended bonus almost. It's a little out of sorts now because we do have Mimi with the operator, so it's not completely as per usual. But again, G2 looking way more threatened by Guild this time.
For sure. Although I think Mary, even with the Spectre, like, she shouldn't be taking early fights anyway. She has Resurrect online. You have the wall too for glance, potentially in a post plant, or just to stall out tons of time. But I'd love to see Guild try and make some headway in mid again. I really like that attack over towards double doors. Against the chamber trip, you can really only guarantee lockdown either Arch or B-Link, and that's one of the weaknesses of chamber on this map. Very good at holding down B-Long with the operator and the teleport, but in terms of that passive sentinel info control, not as reliable. And you can set up a star just like we just saw from Roxy, the star to block off deep B-Link. You can peek around the corner there, potentially break the tripwire, and then create this lasting pressure. That's what Juliano was so good at on the Reina previously. And I think that's what Guild are preparing for. Yeah, there's the smoke.
Okay. They're in close. You can see Juliano lingering up a little closer. You can see the pressure still shown towards the A side, so a bit of an A crunch coming in. A little bit of a... I mean, there's only 3 players going here, and G2 have really committed to pushing up this far. They need to get this kill dealt with because the flank's coming in right about now. Too late in the day, but the trade comes out for Petra, just about keeping this round together. That could have gone to absolute ruin. But now a 3v3 rotations on that close by, so Petra left to her own devices. No bailout system there. Juliano caught on the flank. Claudia is on the day. We've got Mary kind of popping off. We've got Claudia hitting hard. And this, I could not imagine a better situation for it. But Mimi puts Claudia to bed, and it's a 1v2.
Up online, Ness. You don't want to walk into the crosshair right here. Claudia went crazy, pushing into spawn almost, even with sight control. And now an op retake just not going to be simple. Maybe trying to bait with this gun on the ground, sees the rifle.
And she's got to know they didn't escape the side. This is such a big read from Mimi, and knows it so early that Ness is in this position, but Ness is so clutch. Can Mimi clear this corner cleanly? She absolutely can. Figures it out in the 1v2 with so little information, putting together the pieces of the puzzle that she was presented. And G2 will get their third, but once again, Ender, this is so much closer than before.
And lets them know she got the clutch as well. Wow. I mean, just finding information, the rifle switch around from op to pistol to back into the rifle, absolutely perfect, clearing out that tight cubby. A tough position to play the post plant from for sure. Guild player just sort of stuck on site, but Mimi been so effective in a lot of these late round moments. And it's tough because you feel like Guild played that round almost perfectly. From the breaking the tripwire at the same time your players are pushing into art, so much mid pressure. That's how you break the sight holds on this map, and they're able to crunch the A main aggression as well. But now it comes down to Mimi. Can they break her operator? And yeah, the Prowler is good enough to force her back off the teleport, and they have the Viper Wall to make it almost impossible for the Chamber to peek out through that without the TP ready to go. Another 20 seconds.
There goes in. No one close by. Juliano getting curious. We know what happened to the cat, so Juliano needs to play this carefully. That's a lot of that's at least 3 players now noted. They need to be on red alert for this. Still going to leave 1 player over towards the A side, but the others all starting to congregate towards the B side itself. Divide going to go in, so G2 held off here. Juliano has a second of a glance towards a player, but that's about it.
Very claustrophobic on site right now, as you see 2 players trying to re-clear towards back hall, but Guild making the decision to play 4 off site. They have the mollies to play with, I do believe, for the post. No, they actually don't. And they're losing control over backside. This is really bad with the wall coming up as well. G2 are fully in control of the site.
Yeah, they're going to need something that's going to set them through this. There has to be something to deny this. Mimi's on the defuse, and Smurfette goes for the knife to check the close wall. No one's there, but Juliano watching, overwhelmed in the end. Ness tries to go for it, but the defuse couldn't be denied in the end. They keep 2 players alive. Close, but no cigar, and the problem is the scoreline's starting to look a little good for G2 here. If you're a Guild fan, you're getting a bit worried because you know that the money's going to start being brought into question. These rounds are contested, but G2 just coming out on top.
I didn't catch quite exactly when the mollies came out from ness, but using them so early in the round, I believe as part of the site take or stalling out when the plant was going down, you cannot commit 4 players back down long, especially when the Cosmic Divide is up on the opposite side. It seems sort of lost in the heat of it, right? It was a very chaotic round with all those walls coming down, but Guild just not being quite on top of the ball when it comes to what ults are online, what utility they have at their disposal, because that wasn't lost due to gunplay or anything like that. That was just a complete utility difference, and one decision to commit down B long loses them everything. Now, Guild is a really interesting setup. The pistol is just a rifle on chamber, working in towards Art, and this wall should be down in about 20 seconds for the A hit. But there's 3 players in A main they're gonna have to deal with.
And I actually really like the extremity control that G2's going for to try and push up on this. It didn't really work out in the pistol initially. They had that double stack left over towards it, but I think it's a good idea to try and be proactive on the map, and it's worked out really nicely. And then the problem becomes trying to get towards the A site is super difficult because, again, this cross, this angle that Juliano gets to play with, unless they have something to really allow and facilitate the cross, Juliano is going to thrive here. But she's getting really a little too far ahead for me, but it's Petra, and Petra is going to keep this round in check. No harm, no foul in the end. 3 stay alive. They keep the rifle, they keep the operator, they get everything they wanted.
Is that the 3rd 4K Petra's got? I think she's gotten a 4K on every single map. Just had these big rounds, absolutely winning it out. Was mid-prowler on that one, but gets the swing around. Even though Glance falls to the rifle, is able to win that one through. So again, Guild, this is a struggle for them because, again, the last time they played, they only won 1 round on defense. It was actually their attack where they strung, I believe, 5 together before eventually falling in that second half. So not being able to find much room here is a little bit alarming. They do have Ness's ultimate for the post plant if they'd like, and an interesting wall to try and get them up B long if they want and block off an operator, but they're not really playing off it. It's that same art control, trying to break down this wall, cause some pressure. I'd like to see them move in and break that tripwire early. If you can break Sage Wall and the chamber trip in the first 30 seconds of the round, you are very, very happy, and that's going to keep the defense on their toes.
See if they go through that protocol list early, because you're right, there's a lot of utility in their way if they did decide they wanted to start pressuring, but they're down to about a minute now. So a little bit of time to play with. Smurfette putting her get out of jail free card, and there's the trip now gone. So this isn't terrible. Good progress made, about 57 seconds. They've done the early work of trying to deny that committed utility. I'm going to put G2 on red alert though now, as noting at least 2, potentially 3 players towards middle.
They haven't really gone for a full commit into this B split, finding its connector, but do have a flash in the hands of Klaudia if they want to go for it. Juliano in a lot of trouble. Klaudia's going to find that kill, and they know there's connector players, at least 2 of them. Smurfette gets the first kill, and some good zoning, but Petra's going to have to find the right timing to stop the spike. Here she does. The spike is locked up, 25 seconds left.
And there's going to be a late backfill to this as well. You got support on the way. And there's going to be the shot from Mimi, still holding down the site itself. There are problems trying him out here. There's Glance making her name into the feed. Finding Klaudia in now 13 seconds. They've just got to play to the clock. Roxy and Ness have their work cut out here. Spike now back in hand. Glance wants back in, and Ness with the punish. Now Petra gives away position. 5 seconds. Can they buy any more time? No. The spike's going to go down, and Petra would love to deny it. But that is out of... Wow, the realms of possibility now. 18 HP is all she's got to play with, and well, she is looking cooked.
4 HP into prayer. Star on the ground as well, so if she tries to walk through, potential pull or concuss. I just can't see a way for Petra.
No, absolutely not. That's good work
crazy.
From Guild, though.
I mean, there was so many strange things that happened there, because I liked the initial attack from Guild, but then it seemed like they were a bit lost, because the spike goes down, and they only send 1 player back initially to grab it, while the other 3 commit into the site take. 2 of them were long, albeit, but very chaotic in those late round moments, and I think Guild a little bit lucky almost to be able to retrieve the spike. Maybe the swing from G2 a little bit too early to allow them to take that 2 versus 1 fight and get onto site with just 1 second remaining before they would have run out of time for the plants.
Now it looks like an all-in piece, really, isn't it? It's 4 players just flooding through towards A. The response is instantaneous, too, because they have the information. Mimi and Mary are both here. Now, they could back from this, but they haven't really held much of a default, so they have no information on any flanks coming in. So it's going to be a rough one if they do decide to back away, but as it stands, Mimi left down to just the classic, and they are going to back from this. So wonder how much time this eats up having to re-clear, but they're going with full faith that no one's hit that flank.
Yeah, it's problematic that the first person to fall was Glance, although at least there is the resurrection coming through. So now they have the stars, if they so need, for this retake. Just 1 point off the ultimate as well, and you saw how powerful that was in the retake for G2 earlier on. So if Glance can get a kill, that could be huge.
Yeah, Petra has to pull away to a slightly deeper angle, but still plays it really nicely. Punishes Smurfette, and Mimi's here early enough to spot two. The shot goes astray somehow, looked on the money, but it certainly wasn't. And the push and the pull on the attention, really nice synergy between G2 on the side, making it very difficult for Guild to find a fair fight, leaving Klaudia in a 1v4. First, she might get, it's Mimi. The second she's got to know was Mary. Another player noted, but it's not enough. Too many bodies on the site already. And G2 again respond perfectly. 6-2 now.
Yeah, G2 quick on the rotate, and also by going for that counter up Viper wall down B long, they just didn't have the same coverage on site. The Astra wall didn't fully block off B-Link, so you saw that there was a chance for Mimi to get a shot off there. The first one didn't quite connect, but the rest of the flood from G2 was just super, super effective. And if you can't lock off both Heaven and B-Link effectively when you're trying to take B site, you are in a lot of trouble. So it is that same wall again, but they're going to have to be a little bit more creative in how they take that site, or just simply avoid fully committing into it from B long and working towards connector a little bit more. Although I do like this wall from Mary a little bit harder to bust through, but the way Guild have been playing, they can just time it out. It'll be down in a minute.
Juliano, this is bold. Yeah, and you can see why. Good for one, gonna dismiss away. Punish aNNja. And Juliano looking to farm up a little here. You get a little confident in this game. A little bit quieter than prior, but again, last time it was just off the charts. You can't always hold someone to that accountability when they have to perform, but everyone else stepping up to the plate as well here. Guild not finding as much room as they'd want. Ness, though, gonna definitely draw some attention back towards B now.
Decides to break the trip instead of dropping and going past it. Not wanting to use that ability on the pistol round. That does mean the scaling threat a little bit lessened. Already a player from G2 rotating over. Mary playing backside. Gonna be very hard for Sheriff to clear out. And I just love Juliano continually trying to force these fights around mid, knowing they're sort of trapped here. Not a lot of headway for them. Yeah, their long player drops. They got to force into connector, but Mimi's there with the Sheriff. It is fallen to pieces a bit for Guild in this round.
This is formality now. Roxy, great connection on one, but the op will be recovered. And you're right, the re-aggression from Juliano is consistent. That Prowler actually getting a little deeper and clearing all the way back through mid was very telling. So G2 getting everything. Oh, I mean, how have I not seen this before? So I'll into this with getting a much closer game, but sadly the result is very much similar. It's 7-2 now.
Look at this, 3 push down B long. G2 have not gone for much B aggression. They've gone for some A aggression and no real multi-flanks, but the smoke comes down and ness is gonna have to book it. The rest of the team sort of rotating into it, but this effectively locks Guild into an A hit.
And again, becoming a bigger nuisance now. Juliano's starting to heat into this game. Mimi on the back of the site, not being forced away. Free fights for Mimi here, not quite landing the shot she'd want, but plenty of bites of the cherry, and another missed, and now it's getting a little sloppy. There's Roxy and aNNja, the ones standing. Klaudia can be rezzed at this point. No quick threats to this, but the flanks coming in.
Maybe not aware. They knew all 3 had pushed B main, but now someone can come art. That's exactly what Glance is going to do. The smoke drops. Oh, Juliano's just way too damn good.
All right, aNNja. No utility in play. Purely the gun at the side and 3 players to try and dissuade from this defuse, but it ain't gonna be stopping. aNNja has to face the music. And it's not playing her song. 8-2 now. G2 starting to really stride through this game. A little bit of threat here and there. Yes, Mimi not quite having that impact she would have wanted with that operator, but still, the rest of the team starting to heat up here, starting to look solid across the board.
I love the G2 flavor, mixing in those A pushes, the B pushes in that one, and then like so many teams I think would just commit all 3 players onto the flank. It's like, oh, it's too risky to send one person solo back into art, but that's exactly what they do, and it ends up being a perfect call for them. And now straight back to that A aggression. Same 3 players, this time they're pushing A. The op is gonna keep B on lockdown, and well, ness, it's a very similar story, just in the reverse, about to run into that core of G2.
Yeah, that triple stack that we've seen now a couple of times come into effect worked quite nicely. I do want to see how it looks when they're going to be in full retake mode, though, won't they? Because they can't quite make it towards the B side in time. Now, with that being broken, you can see the knock-on effect. They try and make progress here. Now, Ness just about backs away from this, so this will be a relatively quick flank, but it's put a lot of pressure on Mimi. Still going to find one, good for Klaudia, and backs away to safety. Actually going to get out of there too, which is nice. We keep her senses about her, but the spike plant will be coming in.
This is very nice. Mary falling all the way back into connector, expecting someone to be late coming through. And that 3-player retake. They can't quite smoke past that trip, I don't believe. They're going to try. And they break it instead. The smoke just missed on minimap. That's what I was following on that one. And it's going to be the same idea, I think, where they go 2 down long and then this late reflank through B-Link.
I don't know if that Prowler goes far enough to clear Ness. I don't think it did at all. So Ness going to get away with this position for a little bit longer. Smurfette's punished Mimi, so actually starting to dwindle in numbers now. Ness, good for buying some time, and actually a couple of kills. Ness gonna find both players trying to push further forward, and Mary, the last one alive. Done, dealt with. Guild gonna make it to 3. We have to see how that final round shakes down on this first half.
Good control from Ness and Smurfette right there, playing deep on site. And maybe a little bit over ambitious going for the flank when you have the Astro Wall up. They could have just played the control site. Just
dirty bastards.
I love it. I love it.
Word.
Just full random. Where do we push? And, well, look at this. Wait, weren't they just playing soccer? What's going on?
Look, they're having a real day. They've been on the sauce. They're absolutely loving it. And an aggressive start from Guild, taking the space straight away from A main. Normally they've left that a little bit later. They'll posture a little, but this is with full commitment behind it. But still with the heads-up approach of keeping track over towards the B long site as well, or B long, should I say. Ness just about peeling away from that, so that could open up a chance for this flank. And the double stack towards middle pushing out here is going to be curious. I wonder how much they get, because looking on a space they're clearing, Guild want everything.
They love, I mean, they have a site, but they love pushing into connector. Remember when Klaudia did that and got a 3K earlier? She was deadly on that. Smurfette is here, but glance so perfect on the clear to remove that player. But as I was saying it, Klaudia still wants a little bit more. She snuck her way into flowers. So it's the double flank that's important to end this spawn push.
Ooh, Juliano clears Klaudia. aNNja's timing's good, though. That's it from Guild. Big answers back all at the same time, leaving Juliano and Mimi, the last two, to try and build any presence into this.
Oh, no. Juliano somehow finds the timing, dancing through the wall.
No, aNNja's got this. aNNja has absolutely got this. The lineup's still in play. Juliano's found another. Oh, God, surely this is... It's fine, it's fine.
She can full tank it. No, she's good.
Yeah, there we go. Wait.
She could have full tanked it. One Viper Molly does not kill.
Still fine. She's still fine.
But she's also good. She's good. Playing with our hearts a little bit. Oh,
fine.
man.
Totally fine. And it's totally fine. No
totally
stress.
Fine. Look, G2 just giving Guild the taste of the 9-3 medicine. Just like they experienced back on Fracture. And, I mean, I don't know how G2 win this when Ness just kills both flankers.
I don't know.
Just absurd, but it's through both players pushing on their own. It's like one-on-one defense, you know, just player. I don't know even how they managed to do that, expecting to push through the Astro Wall in art. But they're good for it. Juliano's bounced back after a middling Fracture performance, back on top. And now, like I said, Guild have to solve mid. They got brutalized by Juliano walking through those double doors, breaking the tripwire, and then pushing connector. She won her fights every single time previously on this map. And their answer for the pistol, at least, is all random, all mid.
Heard of that. Yeah, and it's quite aggressive, actually, from Guild. They're posturing way more aggressively than they were before, and they're taking space. They've pushed out in middle. They're not just playing, you know, stacked up. They've actively taken the fight. So this is a little bit of a different look, and I wonder how much room someone like Mary's going to be able to get towards the A side. We'll have to show presence there. It should ring the alarm bells. The timing could work out quite nicely for G2 in this. And Guild will make it back through, but the wall has gone up. A little bit of a pixel to be shown, so you got to be cautious on this cross.
Still, the plant should be theirs, and it really just comes down to aNNja's flank, actually calling in the reinforcements with Roxy. They have the numbers advantage, so really trying to beat this, but it's a double stack with Juliano ready to swing off of that. and they're not going to be expecting
I hate this corner. I hate this corner so much. I hate it so much. Oh, I'm so glad that Roxy got the kill on it, but now it's down to the 1v1. Mimi, a quiet performance so far, and Ness absolutely clutching up. And keep your eyes on that bar, depleting swiftly. Half is achieved, and Mimi's in danger now. Ness again. Doesn't know how to lose, apparently. Pissed around won by Guild, and they are making a whole new reputation for themselves as long as they keep picking up these pistols.
I have to make a request to our analysts. Can we find out the how many clutches Ness has actually gotten? Because it's ridiculous at this point. Like, I just cannot believe what she gets away with. That is why did we jump over our Sage Ball? Goofy kill to start off the round, and it's important as Ness is able to close it out. And if my calculations are correct, that is now 4 pistol rounds in a row for a Guild. Now, they lost round 2 to start this game off. Not to a force, mind you, just to pure heroics from Petra, sprinting it down mid. That likely not the case here, but Juliano has a Sheriff, which will always be deadly in her hands.
There we go. So, once again, utility cleared from the door. Early work. Above 1 minute 20. And it calls 3 players in response. So Prowler's gonna reveal 1 towards the door side. And Smurfette actually forced off on 5 HP. Not sure who landed that shot, but it's certainly gonna put her on red alert here. Needs some support because she is pretty far off, and gotta be careful now. Could be overwhelmed, but feeling confident enough to double dip towards Mary, and now will give up the site.
I love the crunch Guild went for, trying to find a Juliano lurk. It wasn't there this time around, but Guild clearly have done their preparation after losing out previously, and the retake should be oh so easy for them. Just swarming. The pistol from Mimi, very effective. Still going to be a clean enough round for Guild to close this one out. And I just can't stress enough how important it is to already see some adaptations, whether it's the 5-stack mid in round 1 or the late mid reaggress into pinching down on double doors. These are exactly the right ideas that I wanted to see Guild bring in to equalize on this half.
The fact that Smurfette's doing this on 5 HP when the support wasn't that nearby. Big work from her. Clearly feeling herself a little on this half. And maybe rightly so. I mean, topping the board out for Guild, joined by Ness, 13 to 13. Not exactly, you know, turning heads, but certainly impactful. And now we see what they can do on their bonus. This is the one that could be pretty essential to the knock-on effect of the game. If they do big damage, they do slow down G2's money really getting out of control, and then it becomes more and more likely they convert. But let's see what G2 do. A little bit of tension shown early towards the B side of the map, but congregating over towards A.
I don't know if this is a read or a plan G2 went in with initially, because Guild love these 3-player pushes down long B. They really like to catch you off with those Astra Stars that you look to try and get past over towards Sign. But once again, site relatively open. Hopefully no one jumps and leaves their heads available this time around, but the wall has been broken.
The plants come in. Steez goes through. I don't think anyone there really to capitalize on it. Actually, maybe they could have over towards Pit for Mary Sharp. And it's a good trade for Ness, but quickly handled. So that's 1 rifle down for now. Not really recoverable, as the last 2 players will be coming in through from short. Juliano comfortable on the spray, and aNNja, already noted earlier on, should be found pretty swiftly here. And 4 standing. So would have been nice to see them maybe chip away a little bit further. Would have loved to see another kill coming out there for Guild. Maybe punish G2 a little bit more. Force them to rebuy 1 or more weapons. But as it stands, it'll be a decent purchase going forward. I'm pretty sure they can spread the guns out easy here. On the other side for Guild, though, a couple of big ults coming in. Ness and Smurfette both having theirs.
Yeah, don't know if I love the decision to pick up a Vandal when we have the Viper's Pit online and giving away those tracers, but it seems to be the choice for Ness. And honestly, if Ness goes for an ult back double doors, I am so down. Like, what a creative way of potentially dealing with that Juliano lurk. Decides not to do it at the start of round, at least. Some early attention put over towards A main, but Guild are really trying to fight into this one.
And a tag glance, taken down to 51. Little tag and no frag, and they turn attention. They want to avoid that operator and play the tour de force, and maybe a good shout on that one. Juliano already pressuring towards middle, going to make these rotations a little bit trickier too, but has to give that space away. They're invested, but between the smokes, it doesn't really affect them. It's going to be Roxy on the back of the site, and Mimi slipping the net, or at least try to. Klaudia drags her back down to reality.
Backside completely deafened. Roxy has nothing but tries to fight back into Petra. Petra's still alive. And now getting the pinch down. aNNja finds a couple. It's just Juliano down towards long. Spike planted for her, but 4 players alive. Has to do something immaculate. Just not going to be the case, as ness locks that round down. Really good counter util from Guild to stop that B-Link crunch. And the retake absolutely perfect as they dealt with the backside players with ease.
Absolutely right. Things looking way better for Guild if that's the sort of diligence they can come in with on their gun rounds. Couple that with the fact that they actually, won pistols. They're starting to really find so much more capability in this map already. This is looking like a much better, well-rounded approach. And we do see the operator out now, so happy to see this. This could actually be a good game now, because I was a little bit worried that it would just kind of slip into what we saw before, but absolutely not the case. Guild looking way better today.
And here's the thing, right, is G2's comp does not have good utility for clearing space. Again, most of it's going to be off of like Sage slow lineups and Prowlers connecting at the same time. As you can see, just contacting through A main. So the op is very difficult to deal with from G2's side. They can't really shut that down. And the res will be good, but if Guild are able to stop the lurks from Juliano, G2's attack will suffer.
Juliano trying to slip a little deeper down. It's going to be 1v1 against Roxy at this point. Both confident players, good aimers.
That's the thing, though. Battle. Shutting down the lurks requires winning your gunfights or playing off your team's utility.
Klaudia. Dirty flash towards long.
I'm
Instant
starstruck.
Swing. Look, I've played a couple games with Klaudia. She's nuts. She's nuts. Incredible to play with. Love a bit of that. As it stands, though, G2 eyeing up the A side, but there's so many players here. 2 towards, well, 1 pit, 2 towards secret. And the problem is that actually aNNja's the one to get found, so Mary has a whole lot more to deal with. Smurfette's still here, but he's going to be put down, decayed down for a second or two. 0 availability to be able to call anything or hear anything as that C's came in. Now with the plant, they have a 3v2. Ness towards CT. They want to find Roxy as well. Looking likely towards aNNja. Absolutely is Petra. First one to it, and Roxy's gone.
Ness has done some magic today, but I don't know if it's going to work out this time around. The tag takes her down to 23. Almost gets it on the pre-fire, but very likely just going to be the call to save this rifle. Not that their economy is in too bad a position, but just a pretty much unwinnable round for them. It's kind of hilarious with Juliano going for the lurk down B long and losing. Like, Mary has just turned into the entry for the team, and the value she has gotten just sprinting into sight with very little util to support her has been pretty ridiculous, to say the very least. And if we do get a replay, I hope we see, I think it was Smurfette's POV, because she actually just lost to right-hand view model from backside with the operator.
Where does that flash come? Oh, it's from...
It's from Link. It goes all the way over.
You can't even see it. Oh.
And that's the thing, is I think, and especially with the KO changes coming through, I'm very glad for those changes, because so many bad KO players got to be good at KO because right-click was too easy. And you right-click, you flash for yourself, that's great. Learn of a flash lineup, or learn to come up with that on the fly, like Klaudia just did right there, and you are instantly a fantastic KO. There is just not good left-click flashing in Valorant right now. It's not widespread enough, but Klaudia has very clearly put in the practice, and it shows.
I mean, she was forged in the fires of CS. Those flashes should be second nature to her in that regard. She is incredibly talented in that way. But as it stands, we look at what we have here, and it's a default. It's a deeper default from G2, looking maybe to punish any of the aggression, knowing that the buy could be a little bit here and there, a little bit out of sorts. Bulldog is recovered, but Smurfette does give away the position. So they're going to note that there was 2 players, maybe even more, trying to apply pressure through middle. So the sites might be vulnerable, but what do they do now, G2? They decide they're going back in for the fight. They want more of this, and they're going to find more of it. Good spray from Juliano in the end. Does it just well enough to take down Smurfette, but it's ness holding down by the door, and ness is such a round-changing player.
What did G2 do off the back of this? The A site is open, but they still have the wall to play with for Guild on this retake. That's going to cause G2 to slow things down just a little bit, but right now the Guild players, Roxy and Ness, just holding hands. A couple of mollies to block out a choke to maybe clear pit, something like this. And they're going the long way around. So this wall, while yes, it blocks off any art play, it makes Guild fairly confident on the retake. No one can be art, so G2 are going to fight forward on the site, and I think that's the right decision given the circumstance. But you have to get past Ness, and you just can't. But Glance gets both to secure the round and take it to map point.
12 now, G2 doing just enough, and the problem is the time this hits, Guild's money is in shambles. They can scrape together something. They have ults galore, but not the one that would help Smurfette right now, which is a little bit of a problem. Klaudia can go rifle, no arm. Got a Phantom sitting with Ness with the light armor there, but it's all odds and ends. It's scrappy. And on the other side, it's not the biggest amount of wealth that they've got behind them, but they've got probably a buy in hand, and they've got the current purchase. They have the divide. They have Petra's ult too. They have so much to invest into this. And G2 could just potentially deathball it. You'd need a bailout round from one of these players. Smurfette could be it. Not gonna land those shots she wanted.
It's the perfect ult for the anti-eco, right? Or the against the force by just the free plant. Wall the Smurfette! Peeks past it, can't find the second. That could have blown the round wide open. But all 4 players are here ready for the retake, and that's gonna call G2 to hit the gas, or hit the brakes rather.
Okay, it's all gas, no brakes, though, for Guild, who've invested everything. They just put in almost, I think they put in all of their ults. Yeah, they absolutely did, and it's going to be an instant backpedal. G2 are out of there. They are running the hell away towards A, or at least maybe middle. They've got a minute still to play with. They've got plenty of time. The problem is that was precious utility for Guild. They didn't have much coming in. And now it's going to be a race to the side. Look towards Pit. The 2 players who can maybe do something about denying this. The Horn's timing is going to be lovely. Doesn't actually find other player, but it does reveal as soon as they had to shoot it. Ness tries to slip ahead of it, punished by Mimi, and now it's down to 3.
Nightfall catches 1, just 2 players from Guild, and they have to clear out art. How is it even possible with the post-plant util, the Defens coming in? Roxy needs someone to swing into her crosshair, but G2 are just too tempered, waiting for the plant or the defuse, and the perfect crossfire to come.
Last player standing. Removed.
And it's going to be lights out. aNNja, 1 versus 3. 2 players to her right. No one swinging into her. The time working against her. aNNja gets 1, but it's just not meant to be. Glance is going to swing around from A main and secure Pearl for G2. Their defense was flawless. And yeah, they struggled a bit on attack, but G2 are now 1 map away from taking back-to-back all 3 Game Changers finals this stage. It has been